All right, let's see if we are live. We'll get some more work done this morning. Let's check in on my channel here. Looks like the plate is up, and are we live? Yes, we are. Let's check my volume here. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we are. Let's check my volume here. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we are. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, cool. Like that. Let's see. I've got social media posting. My mouse has just been, I don't know what's been going on with my mouse lately. Hold on, guys. I'll get us up and running here in a minute. If you've been here before, you can skip ahead like maybe like a minute. Watch. Nope, that did not do it. Hold on. I didn't. Delete. There we go. Oh, neat. Maybe later. Sorry, I've got a delay happening here. Delete the elite. Blurp. Come on, man. This thing's getting really glitchy. Nope. There it is. All right, finally got that up and running. And let's see, I have a few more buttons to click. And click. Move the embed. Come on, mouse, work with me, everybody. It's just flipping around like it's reading twice. My tablet's not on manual. All right, finally got that taken care of. Hey, okay, great. So my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish online. And I'm creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting. I've been DMing since 1987. I've been using Eberron as my homebrew campaign world since 2006. And I've been creating content for 5th edition, publishing on the DMsGuild since 2017. And this is the first Eberron Adventure that I'll be creating and publishing. So here is a slew of art here on the I'm on the X Twitter platform at Phil Kearney. If you're there as well, you can catch illustrations when I'm live, different stuff I get going on there. Here on the channel, please do like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when we're live in the future. We're at episode 300. See how wonky that mouse is? We're at episode 315 right now. Here's the full playlist. Here's a slew of other books I've created on DMsGuild. The Point Warlock is 2 sales away from gold medal status. So if anyone is interested in throwing me a couple bucks and checking out some of the spell point systems that I've built for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, Point Warlocks is a really good one. So we are making NPC tokens for villagers that are around town. And currently, yeah, so I'm just going to, we're making tokens. So that's what we're going to do. There are up to 6 villagers that the players can encounter out in the wilds. Like, you have a village full of villagers, and then some villagers have gone missing or been captured, or rather kidnapped, and during the course of the adventure, the players can discover them. They each have information to tell, and you can rescue them for rewards. Each of the plot hooks has different types of NPCs that the characters can engage with, and depending on which plot hook you choose, depends on what your base information is and your angle of approach to the adventure. So changing who the team contacts and what information they provide is going to change, because like one plot hook knows that there's an artifact involved. Most of the others don't. So if you know there's an artifact involved, then you're wanting NPCs that are aware of the artifact, so that they can provide you with new information instead of them being like, oh, I don't know anything about no new artifact, but well, what do you know? You know, like that's the approach that you end up taking. If the NPCs can't naturally just curve into what the players already know and help guide them in the direction that they need for additional information, they're not very useful. So you change who the NPCs are and what they can provide for you based on what the plot hook necessities are. So we have 6. There's a default there's a default plot that is shown throughout the adventure, and then in the appendix it has 5 alternate plot hooks that can be used for framing the adventure, and the appendix provides details on like modifying the NPCs and what information they have available to help, like I just said, aid the players in their with their goals in the adventure. So sometimes an adventure will have a preface assumption, and then like if your characters are involved because of X, Y, and Z, here's how you can explain, like here's how they would fit into this scenario. And instead we're like, if you're going with this sort of a scenario, here's how you change the adventure. So like it's a little bit more of an in-depth approach. But I liked the process of doing it. It was a lot of fun to do. I'm in the process of weeding, trimming down the text that's in the adventure. So I was doing some testing. I'll show you guys this real quick. Hold on. So I was doing testing last night with the tablet, and so just so you know. This is the size of tablet that Phil uses. Here, it's a Samsung Galaxy. It's a 10-inch, 10-inch wide, 6-inch tall display, and the way that the adventure is currently formatted, and it looks like it's working out, is using a 11 by 17. I'm already assuming that we're feeding 11 by 17 pages through a printer when we're printing the black and white maps. So we have an 11 by 17 sort of framework here. The cool thing, well, it's actually 10 inches by 17, but the cool thing about this is that this screen size, this page format is the size of the display area, and when you have it horizontally aligned, you can see the entire page. But when you roll it to the horizontal alignment, it fits one single column. So 10 by 17 is a really, really good format. It would be like this. Like this is the format you see on your tablet when you do it horizontal. It's a 12-point font, which is on a tablet of this size, is the same size font that they have in the instruction manual for the Dragons of Kryn board game. But this is a fairly small size tablet. I imagine a lot of people have a larger tablet, and of course you can zoom in if you need to see anything closer. But it looks like the page format works, and if it works for me, and I'm super blind, so if it works for me, where'd I go? If it works for me, it should work for everybody. So I've never made an adventure. I've never made, well, I made the Spelljammer Light as Arax's conversion guide, but that was just changing the mechanics and narratives of specific sections of this adventure. This is the first adventure that I'm publishing from scratch. That I'm enjoying taking control of the narrative space and shaping how it looks. So we have a 1/2 inch margin at the top and sides, and then a 3/4 inch margin at the bottom. We can use the bottom as a navigation plane. But you can see the text here is packed in fairly tightly, and I'm still in the process of breaking it up. And while we're breaking up the text, we're looking at where we need to add or subtract blocks of text to be able to fill out the page. I'm trying to get it so that a single concept fits inside of a single column. So that every column that you look at has a complete thought. Even if it's part of like the bigger theme of a page, I want each column to be contained. So that's the challenge that I'm facing right now as I'm going through and building this, is how do I parse out information in the size of area that we have? Because I like the formatting of this. And then yeah, so that's what we're exploring right now. Some of the information breaks up nicely, like Emerald Claw emblem here, Red Wolf Mercenary emblem here. That makes a lot of sense. In the starting the event, we're still parsing together starting the adventure, but here's basically the basic plot hook. So we can have the illustration of the sheriff that hires you, as well as like I don't know, like a picture of the village, for instance, could fit in here. That kind of makes sense. So, or still figuring out how to fit it all together properly. We may end up going with a larger font to fill in if we're finding that there's page gap on every page, and the columns will accept it, then upping to a 13-point font. I'm using the Roboto font point, which is what I use in virtually all of my books. So if you check in the description down below, you can see a slew of different books that already use the Roboto font. But yeah, it's coming along. There's a lot of text. I need to trim it down, so it's gonna take a while, but it's a fun process. Let's kick down here. Yeah, we can see that the formatting down at the bottom of the page is a little marred right now. But anyway, it's coming along, so we're messing around with it, and I think it's going to turn out okay. So the only thing I'm concerned about is the resolution of images I'm creating with the amount of space that might be available on a page. I'm going to have to be careful about how that parses. But it's an interesting challenge, and I like this. I mean, it's a digital product. It's not. I don't necessarily intend for you to print it out. So I think the 11:17 the 10:17 format. I think there's a lot of potential there. So there's also it's a 17. That's 8.5 inches. I could do it 8.5 by 17. Potentially do that. I want to make sure I have enough information per column to be able to sort out the amount of information, but not leave so much gap that I need illustrations on every page. You know, I don't want like the map. Once the maps start filling in, I think that's going to help carry the burden. The process is parse out the text so it fits on their pages. Break up and fit in the map pages for each section being described. Use the tokens that we're already creating for NPCs to also fill in visual language, and whatever spots are left, that's where we create environments and room and additional like scene illustrations. And I honestly have no idea how many of those I'm going to end up needing. I do this. Back is off. So that is the challenge that I am facing. That's how I'm spending time off screen, messing around with that format. Skeleton. Rib cage. There it is. Core. Navel. Gutters. Hand goes like that. Much more natural. This is coming together. I like this. It's just a stupid little village illustrate, like a little villager hauling a sack of grain, but it's I don't do little simple mundane stuff a lot. It's I get what Wizards is trying to do with the art direction 2024 book. I just because it's emphasizing more like slice of life than combat. I mean, there's plenty of combat in there, I suppose. I haven't seen the actual book yet, so I can't really say. Just the illustrations that have been shared online. There's a lot of slice of life. Let's drop this down a bit. Oof, yeah, there's something off about you, my boy. 1, 2, 3. Down to here. Yeah. Oh, I see what's going on. I need to hunch forward. Okay, I'm going to drop this down further. And let's... Here, I want to have a bend. Bend to his frame. That's my 20-minute timer. They let me know that 20 minutes has gone by. I still have an hour left to play this morning. And we're gonna be on. We're gonna be on this afternoon. What is it? 7 o'clock here in Seattle. I anticipate being back on around 2 o'clock in about 7 hours from now. Yeah, I'll be back on in 7 hours. We're going to continue working with Martial Powers. We've got some upgrading to do on some of the powers, as well as. Maybe it's the size of his head that's making me glitch so much. Let's do that. Let's drop that down. So we're gonna spend a good hour or two on that. We have some updating to do with the thief and some of the powers. Given how feats are working, there's an opportunity for us. But I won't bore you with the details now. You can check out the stream later on today. See where we go, what we're going to do. I like how that hand is sitting. I want to keep that. this. Yeah, that feels right. Bring it in a bit to help fix some anatomy issues. I'm going to hide my anatomy by not drawing the feet. Cheater. Such a cheater. Let's drop that down a touch more. Head in there. Give that a tilt. Okay, so the Eberron Spelljammer campaign that I run for my home weekly table, we had our game yesterday. One of the asteroids that is floating into orbit for into the team's territory for mining. They have they do it as a downtime activity. Basically, every 10 days there's a new adventure, and if the adventure doesn't take 10 days, those 10 days are just the remaining time washes away. As downtime activity, and during that time, the guild that the team runs makes a number of basic, like a perception check. Basically, it's like an investigation check for each territory. They have 8 territories, each is a 10,000-mile block in orbit around Eberron, and so there's like 8 adjacent to the planet, and then there, as you go out, like the orbits get bigger and bigger and bigger, of course. And so the team purchases the contract to mine and oversee activities in each of these territories. And so the asteroids are like slowly swirling in a gravitational plane back to the planet Eberron to smash surface communities. So your contract is to break up the rocks, so they're small enough that when they re-enter atmosphere, they burn up and they don't hurt anybody. So you're constantly breaking. So your guild is constantly breaking down rocks. You're extracting the precious metals or that many of these asteroids contain, and then sending them off to a refinery to smelt into ingots so that you can get paid for harvesting the materials, which is one of the major incentives for a business to go into orbit and break up asteroids. So so you do so you have your guild has clairvoyants that use crystal balls or water pools or whatever to divine what the next asteroids that are coming within reach that the team will have to deal with. So that's each territory has an investigation check. Every 10 days, one investigation check to determine if you can, to see if you can determine what's out there. And if you're success in determining what's out there, you send in a mining crew to spend the next 10 days extracting ore and resources from it and reducing the total of rock that's left. When rock reduces down to 0, you gain a bonus for defending the planet from asteroid disaster. And so there's the single check to determine what's going to be in your territory. And then there's a second separate ability check roll to determine how well your mining crew breaks up the ore inside on the asteroid to harvest the materials. So if you fail the observation roll, you have to send additional surveyors to to that territory to investigate what's in orbit. And there could potentially be some sort of threat or problem that needs resolving. And then once the threat is resolved, which could take an adventure, or you just allow the NPC guild to. Sorry, you already had the guild make the roll. They failed the roll, so now it requires additional attention, which becomes an adventure. And the team can either go on that adventure themselves, or they can relegate the adventure to their guild to make a second passive roll to determine if they were successful or not in resolving the issue. And once that is, if they are successful in resolving the adventure, and they can then extract, they can get basically rewards or resources from that asteroid in the form of a successful mining operation. If they aren't able to resolve it, it escalates, and that territory remains unavailable for harvesting resources until it's somehow resolved. And there's 4 different gears or like types of solutions. There's military. There's espionage, there's diplomacy, and then there's a special category of delving, which is a surveyor that doesn't. When you can't determine what's in a rock, you have to send in a delving team to figure it out. Or like if you realize that there's monsters inside of the cave, you have to send in a delving team to clear the monsters out. So delves is specifically dealing with asteroid stuff, but there's other, like the combat missions, the diplomacy missions, the espionage missions. Those can all be performed in various ways. Like if you're having a military conflict with another organization, or like if you want to spy on an area and not reveal yourself. That's if you have to steal some information from a rival guild's archives at their embassy. You can try to break in. So there's different missions that you try to perform. The stuff in orbit can be, since the campaign is built around the idea that Eberron was once a whole planet, and then it got detonated to protect it from. Yeah, they had to protect the planet. The gatekeeper druids destroyed the planet to prevent all sentient life on Eberron from being destroyed. If they detonate the planet, only most of life on Eberron is destroyed. But if they left it intact, it would have, like the plane of Avar would have. Sorry, this is back in Dalcor. If Dalcor was allowed to fuse with the planet, then all nightmares would come true and everyone would die. So they detonated the planet to knock it off course so that it wouldn't co-terminate with Dalcor anymore. But in the process, it destroyed the planet. So only some hundreds of miles worth of rock. There's multiple rocks. These are the continents of Shattered Eberron, and then you have orbit where the God, what is it called? It's not the Tears of Sybaris. It's the Ring of Sybaris, the crystal asteroids that surround the planet, that got disrupted. A lot of this material got flown out into space, but it's slowly making its way back to Eberron. And a lot of the unseen activity of the gatekeepers is out in deep space, figuring out ways to push rocks back to Eberron so they could bring it all back together and eventually reform the planet. So they have to keep throwing asteroids back to the planet. Meanwhile, there's communities that live on these asteroids that have already returned, and so there's a risk of them being hit by more asteroids. So if they crumble them up, it will eventually refill. But the gatekeepers will eventually become angry at this process and will attempt to stop them. So they basically become eco-terrorists that want to destroy the civilizations that have regrown. And those communities are not going to be down with druids destroying their nation for the sake of the planet. So they're going to be resisting this reclamation process. Hence them hiring these different guilds to break up these rocks. Those that know it's the gatekeeper druids that keep sending rocks back, and that their goal is to rebuild the world. But that's not going to help the people that are making money right now if the way that they make money is destroyed. So they are resisting the druids' effort to reshape the world for their benefit. Let's give the whole thing a bit of a tilt. There, that way it feels heavier. Good, we'll do it like that. That's looking better now. Maru. So what the team decided, the team wants to do an espionage mission. However, one of the mining territories refuses to process an asteroid of Electrum because they found some sort of temple ruins, a structure inside of the asteroid. So what happens here is the world of Eberron is what it used to be, and Kyber, being what it is the name for the Underdark in Eberron, and it's basically a pathway to the quote unquote lower planes of Eberron, and so if so when the world was destroyed, and all the pieces of it got flown off to different points in the system. These are big rocks, like 10 miles, 100 miles. They can be really, really big asteroids. And so there are large intact pieces of like the inside of these asteroids reforms as Kyber, because Kyber is that which is within, and the corruption inside of the world. It's literally inside of the world. So when you break the world up into a bunch of asteroids, each asteroid can form Kyber inside of it, which becomes a portal to the outer planes, where all sorts of monsters can use them as basically doorways to enter this reality, but they're stuck on this asteroid. So if the asteroid can break orbit and crash into the world, it could release these demons into the world. So that is as it should be. Gatekeepers are not necessarily down with demons and stuff. So when the asteroids, if the asteroids hit surface, if they break up enough, they'll shatter and expose Kyber to the surface, to the light of the sun, and that will cause it to basically burn off. So for a little while, there will be a manifest zone on the surface of the planet where that rock impacts, but it has a limited life. It has basically like a 10-day lifespan that remains present before the exposure to the light destroys the Kyber. Interesting, fun little. It's I haven't ran a campaign this way before. It's a lot of fun. So I'll probably run. I ran 3 campaigns in the shattered world, on separate continent asteroids that are in low orbit around the shattered core. But this is the first Spelljammer asteroid belt campaign that I've ever ran. So I've never done a mining operation. I've never done an orbital Eberron campaign, and it's been a long time since I've ran a pure Spelljammer campaign. So this is a lot, like, even though like these things happen on the surface, that the campaign is not concerned with the surface at all. That is completely out of bounds of the campaign. There's an orbital station called Hub that's in the Ring of Sybaris in low orbit, where it acts as a community resource exchange and meeting point for different asteroid belt miners and organizations involved in orbital defense. And there's multiple nations that are present there, and each of these nations that are present have asteroid belt operations that are active. Droam, Dargoon, Zalargo, Moorhold, number of different nations that you would recognize. We basically took the nations of Corvair. Sarlona as a nation state is out there. Aranel, the elves are in orbit making world trees that they send off into space to populate new worlds. Great thing about elves is that they're eternal. So as long as they have enough nuts and berries to eat, they can drift for thousands of years, and it's not a generational ship. Although there'll probably be more elves born along the way, because that is the way. But the elves that disembark on that quest to populate a new world will still be alive when they arrive at their destination. They become the elders that know the ancient ways of their home people, and are basically the lore keepers. These ancient elves teaching the ways of society to a new generation that will never likely witness it. So neat operations there. They go into orbit, they grow these massive miles in size trees, and then they just kind of kick them off and send them out in the orbit, out of orbit to drift away. I feel like this should, I think I feel like I'm gumming up the chest a little bit. Needs to have more space in here. There we go. Now we're starting to get a decent posture for something heavy. transform. I think I want to bring this in a tick. Yeah, that's a little cramped. Leave them out like that. Let's just drop that off right for now. And let's just focus on the frame and structure of how this body should sit. Here. Here. We'll make it a guy. Guys can carry stuff. Clavicles, neck, deltoid, trapezius, lats. Starting to look more natural. too big. I need to make that head a little bit smaller. Good. There we go. Drop that down here. This is a challenging piece of anatomy for me. Bring that arm in a bit here. Seems to be proper. Like that. the arm's getting cramped up again. I think it's an issue about the head being. I think the head is what's causing the problem here. That's what I'm trying to blame anyway. See, now those hands seem disproportionately large. I'm gonna have to let this one sit. I'm gonna drag you down to the bottom, buddy. You're looking good. You're looking good. You're looking good. You're a little rough there, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. I love those pictures. 0, 5, 6, and then. Jalen and Brandon. Those look pretty good. Alright, let's get the rest of these up to snuff. There's a strong no nipple policy on the DMsGuild. So all my boys gotta have shirts on. Farmer tans for everyone. Now, you can go topless, you just can't have nipples. So square that circle. Like, Thrycreen can get away with being shirtless. Ooh, 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 and so can Plasmoids. Can't be too constructed. Simple clothing. Too much. I don't don't want too much sleeve because these guys need to have room to swing. Tunic style. How are we looking on time? All right, that's our last 20-minute. Okay, we got one more 20-minute burst to go. That's fine. And then we'll be done till it's 7:30 here, 7:40 here in Seattle. At 2 o'clock, I'll be back online here today doing some more martial power design work. We got some more work to do with the rogue. We have some subclass, some power updates and default, bonus power lists that need to be revised. So we'll be messing around with that a little bit today. And starting next Tuesday is the official release date for the Player's Handbook. So I believe, yeah, Tuesday next week I should be online chewing through that and making the appropriate updates to our subclasses. What use was that? That was weird. This is so weird. It just floated across my screen. Real simple posing. Stuff like that. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Hey, how you doing, this? Yep, so lumberjack, just a simple lumberjack villager. We're doing a slew of villager tokens for the adventure. Just simple village folk, refugees, setting up an off-the-grid village community along the Carnwood and Carnath and Eberron campaign setting. Hoping the rumors that the Carnwood is haunted is untrue. Nope, just simple woodsman. I guess when the undead comes around, he could use that axe to help sever some skulls. Sure. So yeah, potentially. But will he survive the Blitzkrieg? Don't know. Unlikely. A lot of these villages are populated by veterans retired from the last war, the old swords to plowshares. He's doing his part. yeah, I'll be back on at 2 o'clock today to do some more martial powers work with the 2024 Rogue. Some power updates, background updates. And once we get our dirty little mitts on the official release books on Tuesday next week, I'll be able to start the process of deconstructing the color mana system that I built and rebuilding it for 2024. It's gonna take a while, but it'll be good. It'll be good fun to chew through on my Thursday nights, my Monday, Tuesday. My Tuesday and Fridays lunch streams, my Thursday night design stream, as well as Saturday morning workbench. I'll have plenty to do with the color mana system until I get that update. I also want to update the Spelljammer book with the 2024 mechanics. I don't think I have a lot of changes I need to make, but I think there might be just some subtle nuances that need review, like grappling rules changed and stuff. So I want to make sure I update the ship combat mechanics that we have for grappling and stuff like that as well. Update the terminology. So I got a bit of work to do there too. I'll probably be able to update Spelljammer far easier than any of the other supplements we've done, because the Spelljammer system is the least reliant on actual class features and leans more on variant rules that were in the Dungeon Master's Guide for building its framework than anything else. That's looking pretty good. I don't know what that's it for now. We're just gonna rotate through these. Farmers and villagers. This one seems to have a bit of sass in her. Yeah, this is looking good. I do enjoy gesture art. It's fun. Being able to get the mundane right helps reinforce the fantastic. Like, it starts off fairly simple with villagers having complaints and concerns that some people have gone missing, and now there's Karnath soldiers that are in the Karnwood telling them to stay away, but you know, I mean, like, they're trappers and hunter-gatherers, like forest berry gathering and hunting animals in the forest. Like, this is part of their livelihood, and they're being told to keep away, so they're concerned. People gone missing, and depending on the timing of the adventure, there has been an undead attack. Either the characters arrive after the undead attack to simplify things and reduce the amount of conversation that they hold, or the village is still alive and thriving, but after the characters arrive, that's when the undead attack. And so the characters have a chance to defend the village from undead. That will hopefully cement them in emotionally to helping the inhabitants. Dennis, if you want to check out the beginning of the episode, I was looking at the, I was sharing the current formatting for the book. We are in the process of building the layouts at this point, but it is a tricky task. Maybe instead of like villager 1, villager 2, villager 3, we should have like sassy villager or chummy villager. Who knows? I don't know. Playing with labels. Overly simplified, but place to start anyway. Not capturing that face well yet. Gives a height. I'm gonna have to have a little bit more space for the face. I'm not there yet though. I'm not feeling her face yet. It's okay. Don't need it yet. Liking that look though. So the head could probably stand to be a smudge bigger. Yeah, it's pacing. Its proportions are pretty good. Simple little gestures. I love it. That's fun. Where are we at? 7:58. I've got literally 10 seconds left. So that's pretty much where we're gonna leave it today. We'll come back. We'll work on the berry gatherer. We'll work on the grain, the sack carrier, hatchetmen. Yeah, I'll get to those. All right. So I am done for now. It's 8 o'clock here in Seattle. I'll be back in 6 hours, 2 o'clock p.m. Seattle time or 5 o'clock East time. It's Kenny working on martial powers today for a couple hours. And I will see you guys later. Thanks a lot. Cheers.